Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah and this is one of my sisters. This is Emma, and today we're just going to have a little bit of fun. So I've made us some iced lattes, iced latte ASMR, and we're going to talk about one of our favourite topics, which is Harry Potter. But there's a little twist on it. I'm going to be giving Emma some Harry Potter conspiracy theories that I've found online, and I'm going to be getting her reactions to them, and we're just going to be discussing how valid we think they are or not. I mean, some of them are just for laughs, but like,
and if
we'll
I'm
see.
looking weird, it's because it's right there and I'm not like to look at it.
So I have the conspiracy theories up on my laptop, which is literally right in front of us. But I've told Emma she just can't look at it, so if she looks awkward, that's why. So, okay, are you ready for the first theory?
Yeah.
Right, okay. The first theory is it's all in Harry's head.
Okay.
Everything. So Hogwarts, Hagrid, Dumbledore, magic, wizards, everything is in his head, right? I'll expand a little bit more. The theory is that because Harry is so neglected and he's literally abused, I mean, he's locked in a cupboard under the stairs, that he has just created this fantasy world to cope with his abuse, which is a real thing.
Yeah.
So it's called fantasy coping method, where people who do suffer like quite serious abuse or neglect literally come up with a fantasy world or situations to help them forget and cope with their abuse. So yeah, pretty dark. Okay. Evidence for it though. He suffered trauma at a very young age. Obviously, his parents were killed and he was left an orphan, abandoned on his doorstep by his aunt and uncle. His aunt and uncle took him in but are completely indifferent towards him. Like they're literally so horrible to him. They often pretend that he isn't even there, which is emotional neglect. He uses fantasy coping technique to cope with all this abuse and trauma.
Right.
So lovely little light-hearted one to start off.
Is there anything in the book that's like him waking up or?
No, not really. This one, to be fair, isn't really like a solid. Okay. It's just like a theory that it could be either all in his head or like all a dream, I guess. Okay. So what do you think of this theory?
I don't think it's true off the bat. But I think it's interesting to think about, and I think if I reread the books, I'm going to be like, every time he wakes up or goes to sleep, I'm going to be like, that's it, it's over. Yeah,
like some critics of the Harry Potter universe have said that, you know, the later books get a little bit like hard to understand and don't make as much sense. But if this theory was true,
he's getting delirious.
Yeah, and also like if he started this fantasy reality when he was young, the older he gets, he's going to have to try and justify it. So some people have said actually, if it was all in his head, that helps with a lot of the plot holes.
Okay.
Or a lot of the flaws in the Harry Potter universe. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I don't think this one's true either. Yeah. The second theory is J.K. Rowling is actually Rita Skeeter.
Okay. That's
Have you heard of this one?
No.
Oh, really? Okay, I'd heard of this one. So to even sort of discuss this theory, we are living in a universe where Harry Potter's real. Okay. 100% real. The Wizarding World is real. So everything's real. Wizards are real. Hogwarts real. Everything that happens in the Harry Potter books are real. So that's the premise that we're starting this theory from. Yeah. After Voldemort's death, Rita Skeeter wrote a biography about Harry Potter, which, as usual, in true Rita Skeeter form, was not factual. It was a lot of fabrication. In the Wizarding World, everyone knows the truth, so nobody took her biography seriously, so it didn't do very well. So she had an idea and she thought, well, what if I rewrote this biography for Muggle consumption?
Okay.
Sold it in the Muggle world, made a lot of money, made it into a series, so expanded it, made it into like 7 books, and she became super rich and famous in the Muggle world.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of like this theory. And also, what I found really interesting, right, is that it's kind of foolproof. It's kind of a genius idea because...
Foolproof, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wizards are real and
yeah. Yeah. But if we're going with that, then the Wizarding World couldn't come out against this book because then it would expose them.
Yeah.
And also...
Like, they couldn't be like, that's not...
Yeah, like Harry Potter himself couldn't just show up and be like, this is all BS because then...
Harry Potter's real.
Yeah, so you're proving that it's real.
Yeah.
So obviously that wouldn't happen. Also, if they just like made her suspiciously disappear, that would be very suspicious considering she's like the best-selling author of a multi-million, billion-pound series. So she couldn't just suspiciously disappear. That would be too weird. So basically, we're living in the world that Harry Potter's real. Yeah. It's kind of a genius idea.
Yeah, and then Rita Skeeter's a bit of a snake, and so is J.K. Rowling, so works.
Yeah, there we go. We said it. I wasn't going to address how problematic J.K. Rowling is, but it does work.
And if she went missing,
oh well.
Twitter would be quieter.
In this theory, Rita gets to live out her dream life of being a really rich and famous author.
Okay. I never really thought as well about the way she looks and then the way J.K. Rowling looks.
They look kind of similar. Like
their mousy blonde hair.
even just their faces are kind of similar. Like they're kind of small features, pale.
They're definitely not twins or anything. But
No,
like,
they're not twins. I mean, but to be fair, if Rita Skeeter straightened her hair,
yeah, other than like the pure curly
wouldn't
hair,
be far off.
Which I can't remember if her hair was like that in the book or not.
I can't remember either.
That's interesting.
So if the
that's
Wizarding World,
but if everything else
Emma,
is real,
don't crush my dreams, okay?
that could make sense.
Right, yeah.
It could make sense.
So I really like this theory.
Okay.
I will actually have links to all my like research materials in the notes below. So if you want to go and read a bit more about these theories, you can click the links in the notes. That one was from a Reddit article that I found. This next theory is one of my favourites, and that is that Draco Malfoy is a werewolf.
Okay, go. I don't know.
Right. No, I know. It sounds ridiculous, but see when you read into it, you're like, huh. Right. So the theory is Draco isn't actually a Death Eater. He's a werewolf, right? The transformation is said to have occurred between the Order of the Phoenix and the Half-Blood Prince, which could explain his drastic change of behaviour. Because in the Half-Blood Prince, that's when he's looking like not his best. You know, he's all like clammy and pale and sweaty and worried, and he's having breakdowns in the bathroom.
Okay.
Obviously, we assumed that was because of the task that he was given to try and kill Dumbledore, right? So that could be the reason, but maybe not. Maybe it's because of the werewolf. Okay. So this is where it gets interesting. In the Half-Blood Prince, Lupin says that Voldemort would often get the werewolf that he knows. Remember the werewolf guy? Fenrir Greyback, I think his name is. So Voldemort would often get him to bite children of his enemies to turn them into werewolves.
Yeah.
Lucius Malfoy has obviously messed up quite a few times in Voldemort's eyes. He lost the diary, or he mishandled the diary in the second, but he gave it to Ginny and his plan didn't work, he failed. And then, just in the Order of the Phoenix, he messed up with the prophecy and didn't get it delivered. So this theory says that Voldemort was raging about this, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to mess up your life, and I'm going to get my werewolf friend to bite Draco, turn him into a werewolf, because, right, if you have like a werewolf in the family, it kind of wipes out you're not a pure blood family anymore.
Oh, and they were all about that.
Which they were all about. So, and that would also explain why they defected from like in the Battle of Hogwarts. And also Voldemort wouldn't want them, because if Voldemort only wants purebloods as Death Eaters.
I like that. I like that theory.
I like it. I like it too.
I like it in particular because I'm thinking of that scene when he's in that bathroom and he's like looking at himself in the mirror, and I was kind of like, what are you looking at?
It's because
like, don't get me wrong, sometimes you do look at yourself and you're upset to be like, I'm a riot, like stop crying, and it works. But like he's like pure, like
he looks,
and he's breathing weird as well in it. And
so
now I'm gonna watch it all and look out of the moon and the
right. So there's more evidence. There's actually a whole website dedicated to this theory.
That really does make a lot of sense.
It does. The website is just called Draco Malfoy as a Werewolf,
because that's the same guy that bit Lupin as well.
Yeah. You know, there's a scene where he shows, I think it happens multiple times, it's like he's showing people his dark mark. But what if he's shown a werewolf bite? And it would also explain why him and Snape are like so close, because maybe Malfoy is getting the Wolfsbane potion from Snape on the reg. It does make sense.
Like I'm struggling to find something, unless there literally is a scene in the film where there's a full moon out and Draco's there and he's chilling and he's fine.
Yeah.
But then if he was taking his potions, they can be okay.
Yeah.
They'll be sick, won't they?
I think so. They'll
just be unwell, because that was what Lupin's kind of like. She's like, oh, have you taken your potion? And he's just a bit unwell.
Yeah, actually, you could be right. I'm not entirely
sure. He's not actually going to turn, though. So
in the website, Draco Malfoy is a werewolf, which, by the way, highly recommend looking up. It's literally just a page of information that whoever has put this together, I'm like, respect, because it's concise. So yeah, there is a bit in the books where Voldemort says to Draco, maybe you can babysit the cubs. He says this to Draco when the Death Eaters find that Remus and Tonks are having a baby.
Oh my god, I need to read
That's
the
weird, right? Why would he say that?
Yeah.
Don't know, odd, right? Okay. And then J.K. Rowling has said in an interview that in one scene in the third movie, there was a moment of foreshadowing. So like it foreshadowed something that she knew was going to come later, and it gave her the chills. And in the third movie, Draco impersonates a werewolf and does a wolf howl.
Oh my god, so he does.
Right?
I love that bit as well.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
How weird is that?
She's never confirmed it though.
She actually debunked the theory on Twitter. I think she liked it, but like she debunked it. I know, like who cares? Whatever.
Anything she tweets trash. Any theory that says J.K. Rowling tweeted about it, I don't care.
Yeah, I just think it's a fun theory, and I think
you know what? It makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. It makes it quite interesting.
Yeah.
So
like, yeah, I can't really see a reason for it not to be, a reason for it to be. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's one of my favourite theories, honestly.
Like that. I've never heard it before.
I know.
I'm really shocked. Like I feel like I've heard a lot of theories, and so far I've not heard.
It makes me want to go back and watch the films again and try and.
I've heard the first one before so far.
So yeah, check out Draco Malfoy as a werewolf for more evidence. Theory number 4 is, you might have heard this one. I'd heard this one. It is Harry is a Horcrux.
Yeah, I thought that was known.
So yeah, Dumbledore does come out and say that he's the Horcrux that Voldemort accidentally made, but the theory is that that's why the Dursleys are so mean to him, are so horrible, because they're technically living with a Horcrux. A Horcrux is made when someone splits their soul in half by killing another person. The purpose of a Horcrux is to protect your soul so that you can't actually die, because your soul's technically split, and so it kind of preserves you in that way. As long as the Horcrux exists, the person whose soul is in there can't die fully. You usually have to intend to create a Horcrux using a specific spell, but Voldemort didn't use that spell because he didn't intend to create one when he attacked Harry, but his spell backfired, and so that created an accidental Horcrux. Yeah, in the Deathly Hallows, Dumbledore tells Harry, you were the 7th Horcrux, Harry, the Horcrux he never intended to make. So yeah, the idea is that Horcruxes feed on other people's lives and negative emotions and like fears, so that could explain why the Dursleys were like so horrible, because I guess
they're living with that.
Yeah, and it's bringing out like their worst fears and the worst parts of themselves every single day. So I don't know.
The only thing about that theory, specifically about the Dursleys, is before Harry even goes to them, Professor McGonagall says they're the worst type of muggles. That's not
theory debunked.
Maybe they were already just a bit like.
Well, yeah, no, and I mean, she like Aunt Petunia does say that she thought like they were freaks, like Harry's mum and dad, and like so they seem conservative.
Yeah, I was going to say Tories. I don't know if you'd want that type of political. I've already said JK's trash.
I would say they vote Tory.
Yeah, me too.
We'll say that. People have kind of criticised the theory in the sense that like, well, surely every time Voldemort killed someone, he would make a Horcrux, but that's not true, because you do have to do this spell, so that is why it's confusing why he accidentally creates Harry, but...
And then as well, they do say, like, when Professor Slughorn's talking to him about it, he has, like, to split your soul 7 times. So maybe, obviously, the host must get weaker every time they do it.
Yeah, you would imagine.
So they are, maybe the 7th time, it's like, he didn't mean it, but because he's so weak.
His soul was like, okay, bye.
Okay, I'll do
And it was a baby, so maybe his soul was like, oh, we'll just start
That'll
again.
Be good. Yeah, like...
But, yeah, I don't know. I thought...
it
could explain why the Dursleys are... I've been rereading the Harry Potter books, obviously, as an adult. Like, they're so abusive.
Yeah.
Like, I think when I was a child reading it, I just was like, oh, they're mean, they're horrible. But, like, now I'm like, no.
They were... not good.
They should be locked up. Like, they are... That is...
And then even when, like, the uncle's sister comes, when she comes, she's horrible too, and obviously maybe she is just horrible as well, but it is
it is weird, and obviously he does have a lot of, like, bad stuff that follows him.
Yeah, and then, you know the scene that's cut from the film of Aunt Petunia saying, like, oh, it was my sister as well.
She lost a sister, yeah.
Obviously, at that point, they're starting to look for Horcruxes, and at that point,
they've found a few, I think.
Yeah, they've broke a few.
Yeah.
So maybe because they're getting weaker, that whole energy around Harry's getting weaker, and maybe that's why she's kind of nice in that scene.
Maybe. I think it could stand. Like, I mean, well, he is a Horcrux, so that part is confirmed. I guess what we're really debating is whether that is why
they are like that.
Bad stuff happens to them all the time, and why, the Dursleys are so impacted.
And then him and Ron have a few wee arguments, which obviously you could just put as...
I mean, he has...
Ron literally sleeps in the bed right next to Harry.
Yeah, so I guess close proximity, you would be more affected by it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. Okay, this is our last theory, and this is honestly my favourite one. And this theory is that Dumbledore is death. So the theory is kind of satisfying, and it's quite poetic, honestly. I think that's why I like it. So the idea is Dumbledore is the physical personification of death, as described in the Deathly Hallows story of the 3 brothers.
I love that story.
I know, me too. So the idea is that Dumbledore is like the modern representation of death in that story, and the 3 brothers are represented by Voldemort, Harry, and Snape.
Okay.
I know, it's so weird. Bear with me, right?
Okay. I don't really like that part, but we'll go with it.
Bear with me. So Voldemort, if this theory was to work, Voldemort would be the oldest brother. He's obsessed with conquering death.
Okay.
Makes sense, because he makes loads of Horcruxes. So instead of getting the Elder Wand, well, I mean, he does want the Elder Wand, but instead of getting that, he creates Horcruxes so that he literally cannot die. Okay? Snape, in this theory, would be the middle brother who is so in love with Lily and wants to bring her back from the dead, right?
I might cry.
Right? I know, so sad. So he clings to her memory, but obviously doesn't recall her from the dead. But he does vow to protect her son Harry, who he might see as her sort of reincarnation. And I also think, honestly, I didn't even realise this, but now I'm like, that's so sad because he never really looks Harry in the eye, and then everyone says that he's got his mum's eyes, and I'm like,
That's so sad. And he says it right at the end.
okay, we're just going to take a little crying break and we'll be back. So yeah, and also maybe this is why Snape hates Harry so much, because he wants Harry to be like this embodiment of his mum, but he's so like his dad in Snape's eyes. Like he always says that Harry's like, you're so like James, you're so arrogant and boastful and like whatever. And so maybe that really offends Snape even more, because he's like, I thought you were going to be like your mum, and you're not.
Ugh.
Such a letdown.
And then he gets invisibility cloak, so he's the third
So
brother.
in this theory, Harry's the youngest brother who is gifted the invisibility cloak by Death himself. So Dumbledore literally gifts him the invisibility cloak so that he can be protected and go through life until he's ready to greet death like an old friend,
But
like
then,
it says.
would it not make more sense then if it was James? Because James is the one that had the cloak
Well, wait,
first.
I'm not finished.
Sorry.
So the idea of Dumbledore being death is Dumbledore possessed each of the Deathly Hallows at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
And he did greet Harry after Harry dies in the Forbidden Forest, after Voldemort kills him. He meets Harry at the train station. Remember that weird scene? It's almost like Dumbledore is the kind of ferryman. He's taking them away to the other side.
Okay.
So that's that
I've
theory.
never really thought about him having the resurrection stone. Yeah, where'd you get that from?
Who? Dumbledore?
Dumbledore, yeah. Because obviously he put it in the...
Oh, the Golden Snitch.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
right.
put
Sorry.
it-
Yeah.
He put it
in the
in
Golden
there.
Snitch.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like, where does he get that from? They never actually... Does it
Do they address it? I don't know. I haven't read the latter ones in a long time.
He's maybe just found it in his travels, but yeah, they never...
Just stumbled
I
across
can't
it.
think of an explanation for how he got it. I do like that theory.
I
do
just
like
thought it was a nice theory.
I'm now obsessed with that stone though. Where did he get that from?
We'll have to reread the last couple of books. I specifically don't read the last couple of books much to read the first few because they're too sad. Too many people die and I just can't deal with it. Right, so that was 5 theories. What was your favourite theory? So do you want me to recap them?
Draco's werewolf.
Draco's, okay, straight up.
Hashtag Draco's werewolf. I'm on board.
Okay,
I want him
okay.
to be one, to be honest.
No, me too. I really, really, really like that
Did you
theory.
see him going live for the Mandrake? Like the
No.
So Warner Brothers Studios sponsor if you want. We'll go.
Hi.
They've released a hut for the Mandrakes, so there's now a new attraction. You can go in at the hut and you can pull the Mandrakes
Oh,
up.
please sponsor us so we can go.
I don't know if they scream in one of the videos he posted, but I don't know if they actually scream. But you can go in and you can pull them up, and there's
Okay.
some that are just sitting out.
Okay, so we like the theory of Draco being a werewolf.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, I should have mentioned the last theory about Dumbledore being deaf. J.K. Rowling hasn't confirmed this, but she does say she likes it. And I'm same honestly.
See,
like I know
well-
it's probably not true, but I just like it.
I mean, when you think about like all the books in that, like where it's like symbolism, isn't it? Symbolism
It's
that people
symbolism.
look for in
Yeah.
books. So
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Okay, so yeah, no, I'm agreed. I think my favourite one out of these ones are Draco being a
Hashtag.
werewolf. Hashtag Draco's a werewolf. Yeah, that was fun. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, there's a theory though that you've not said, and I can't remember what it
Oh,
is.
oh.
I thought you were gonna bring it up, and I was
Well,
gonna be like,
We can do a part 2. If you want us to do a part 2, leave us a comment. But I love talking about Harry Potter. I could talk about it all day.
yeah, me too.
So to finish, what's your favourite Harry Potter quote?
It's like being with a friend.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I was actually thinking about this last night and I was like, what's the one you always say? It is Luna. You're just as sane as I am.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
you were going to say
You're
that.
just the same as
Because
I
that
am.
reminds me
I
of
like
you.
everything that Luna says.
Yeah.
But I like the one of it's like being with a friend.
When did she say
She
that?
says it when her and Harry walk after he's had his nose burst, and they walk late
Oh,
through the gate.
yeah,
'Cause
that's
it's so rude.
right. It's,
It's
right.
like being with a friend.
she's throwing shade. But I do still really like the Dumbledore quote when he says, of course it's happening in your head, Harry, but why should that mean it's not real? Like, I
Yeah,
really like that one. I'm
me
like, that's
too.
deep. Like,
I like when Ron says, always a tone of surprise.
not me, not Hermione, you. There's so many. That's when we start thinking of them, there's too many.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think those were good ones to
Yeah.
end on. So
I realise we've not even said what houses we are, though.
I'm a Slytherin. What are you?
I'm a Ravenclaw.
You're a Ravenclaw. You're smart. Comment your house below, and if you like this video and if you want a part 2, then we can definitely do that. But thank you, Emma. I hope you enjoyed all my theories. I had so much fun, like too much fun researching these theories. Like, yeah, it's kind of becoming a hobby. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Mischief managed.